1.08 Triangle Congruence Review. Hopefully this is a review for you. If it is not, that's understandable. You may either forgot it or you weren't taught it yet. We're talking about triangle congruence. So congruence, remember, is the same or equal. Similar is different. Congruence is like two twins are equal, they're the same. Similarity would be like your mother and yourself. You'd be smaller than your mother, similar, or father-son type thing. So we have four different theorems / postulates that help us verify whether or not two triangles are congruent. Remember, this is the exact same size in every way. So if you look at our postulates, you can see that we have them abbreviated. So we have SSS, SAS, AAS, and ASA. Well, an S refers to side, whereas A refers to angle. So the first one we have side, side, side. Well, it's three S's in a row, so it doesn't really matter as long as you have all three sides are equal. So we have 1 and 1, so that's equal. 2 and 2 are equal. 3 and 3 are equal. So it's three sides all equal to one another. Therefore, we know both triangles are congruent. You then want to write a congruent statement. So I wrote GHF. You can write it in any order you want. The second one needs to match the first one. So if I did GHF, my G is on my one side, and it's going towards my two side. So one side going towards the two side. So here's our one side going towards our two side. So it's going to be P, Q, and then our last letter is R. The next postulate is side, angle, side. It's very, very important the angle is in between the two sides. SSA does not prove two triangles are congruent. The A needs to be in the middle of the S and S. So when we have side, angle, side, you can see that we have this side congruent to that side. We have this side congruent to this side. And we notice we have an angle in between those two sides. And they are also congruent because they have one line. Remember, if there's one line here and one line here, that means they're equal. Remember, it needs to be in between those two sides to verify they are congruent. Now, these next two both have two angles and a side. Angle, angle, side. But we notice the second one has a side in between the two angles. So let's go back to the first one. We have a single line for angle here, single line for angle there. Then a double line, congruent to double line. And then we notice on the outside of those two sides is outside those two angles is a side that is equal to one another. So it's going to be angle, angle, and then side. And then finally, this one, we have the side that's in between the two angles. So essentially, if we have two angles and any side that matches up, we have a congruent triangle. As long as they match up, like they both are on the outside or they're both on the inside. It just depends on which theorem you're going to use to prove they are similar. And once again, we have the congruent statement. CPCTC, corresponding. Corresponding means like and like. So like my right arm, my father's right arm. Your twin's right arm, your right arm. It's corresponding. So if we have congruent triangles, and we have congruent triangles, all their corresponding parts are congruent. What that means is, if we know these two triangles are congruent, which we do, then let's say I told you angle M is 45 degrees. Well, we now know angle T is 45 degrees. Okay, we only have to know one number in one triangle to know the other number in the other triangle. So every single part of both triangles are equal to one another. And that's what this is describing. Model A. So first part of the question, is there enough information to prove that two triangles are congruent? So that's a yes/no question. If so, write the congruent statement and name the theorem. That should be on there. If not, write not possible and tell what other information you would need. So let's look at our first triangle. We have a single line side there, which is congruent to that guy. Then we have a double line side, congruent to our other double line side. And we have an angle in between both. That's congruent. So we have sorry, that's not A. It should be side, angle, side. So do we have a theorem that is SAS? Let's go back to our notes, check it out. And here is our SAS. So we do have two congruent triangles. So it's yes, triangle, I'm going to name it randomly, AGN. So triangle AGN is congruent, that's a squiggly line, I'm running out of space, to triangle. Okay, so I did A first. A is next to my one line side, going towards my two line side. So my one line side is here, going towards my two line side. So it's RT, and then our last letter is W. And then because of side, angle, side. The next part of our model, name the two triangles that are congruent and state the theorem. I'm going to erase a little of my work here so we have more space. So let's go for PQR first. So P, one line angle. U, one line angle. R, two line angle. T, a two line angle. And then on this side, we have our side in between, which should be here. It is not. So these two triangles are not congruent to one another. Let's try PQR to the other triangle. So we have one line angle, two line angle, two line angle. And then once again, our side is in between, and our side is in between. So we have angle, side, angle. That is a postulate. Now we need to write our triangles in the right order. I'm going to do PQR, because that sounds like the alphabet. P is our one side angle going towards our no line angle. So we have our one line angle going towards our no line angle. So B, X, W. I'd like to bring up a couple of things down here. So if we notice question 1, 3, and 5, and there's a few more actually on the next side of the sheet. These two triangles on all these three questions are sharing a side. So what you need to realize is if we wanted to, we could break these two triangles up, and we have a 6 and a 6, so we know those are congruent. A 2 and a 2, so those are congruent. And because they share this side, we know those are also equal. So that's also congruent. So we have side, side, side here. And we'll basically have the same thing down here as well. And then this one is also congruent, but I'm not going to give you the theorem for that one. And then 4 is one of the few in this assignment where we do not have enough information. So when you have two sides, if you go back to the postulates, you either need to have an angle that is equal or a third side that is equal. So we do not have enough information on question 4.